the UK today, a cup of coffee can cost up to £4, while the cost of a loaf of bread has jumped by 28% in just 1 year. So what's driving the increase of food prices? The financialization of our food, land and water, which are treated as profit opportunities for banks, hedge funds and billionaires, rather than as an essential human right. Banks, hedge funds, billionaires are making money from food, land and water at our expense by something called commodity futures contract. Originally created in the US to help farmers, these agreements were made between farmers and buyers for future harvests. Future crops were sold at a fixed price, which protected farmers from the financial loss of a bad harvest, or if market prices suddenly drop. But after governments began relaxing financial regulations in the 1980s and 1990s, speculators, banks, hedge funds, billionaires started buying and selling these futures contracts to make a profit. How does this influence food prices? Speculators buy futures contracts or other investments when they expect prices to go up. They aim to sell later for a higher price and profit from price changes. The number of speculators has grown hugely since the 1980s, meaning gambling on commodity futures contracts has increased significantly, distorting market prices and driving up food prices for everyone. Food, land and water have become just another way to make money. After the 2008 financial crash, which saw the real estate market collapse, investors started pouring money into farmland in Africa, South America, Eastern Europe, which was seen as a safe investment, not to farm it, but to profit from rising land prices. Then, in 2020, California introduced the world's first water futures market, meaning that water futures contracts could now be gambled with too. But why does this matter? Because these financial games have real-world consequences. Ordinary people, especially in the most marginalized communities, are hit the hardest when the price of food, land and water rise. Food prices are rising across the UK, the US and the EU, and things are even worse in many parts of the global south. When droughts and climate disasters hit and there is more demand for water, speculators push water prices higher, making water unaffordable for many, deepening shortages for the poorest and hardest hit. And when farmland is treated as an asset, corporations can use government-backed deals and legal loopholes to buy up large areas of land. They increase land rents, pushing smallholder farmers, indigenous communities off their land, all to make a profit. What needs to happen now? We need to take speculation out of our food, land and water. These are not assets to be traded. They're essential and fundamental human rights, and they need to be treated as such. But we need to go further. A transition to a fair food system based on food sovereignty, one that respects our planet, feeds everyone, and is no longer controlled by the finance sectors, billionaires and corporations.